against all men. Death alone is certain, says St. Augustine. All other goods or evils are uncertain. It is uncertain whether the newborn infant will be poor or rich, whether it will have good or bad health, whether it will die young or old. All is uncertain, but it is certain that it shall die. If then you should live all the days you reckon upon, still a day must come, and of that day an hour which will be the last for you. Who is the man who shall live and not see death? There has never been a man so mad as to flatter himself that he should never die. That which has happened to your ancestors will happen also to you. Of all those who at the beginning of the last century lived in your country, behold, not one is living. Even the princes and monarchs of the earth have changed their abode. Nothing remains of them but a marble mausoleum with a grand inscription, which now only serves to teach us that all that is left of the great ones of this world is a little dust enclosed in a tomb. It is appointed, it is then certain that we are all condemned to death, and every step we take brings us nearer to death. As your name has been one day registered in the book of baptism, so will one day be registered in the book of death. As you now speak of your forefathers, the blessed memory of my father, of my uncle, of my brother, so will your successors also say of you. As you have heard the bell toll for others, so will others hear it toll for you. Look then at the corpses, each of which says to you, yesterday for me, today for thee. The same is said to you by the portraits of your deceased relations, their beds, the clothes they have left behind them. In every age, houses, streets, and cities are filled with new people, and the former ones are carried out to be enclosed in the tomb. So will the time come when neither I, nor you, nor anyone now living will exist any longer on this earth. We shall then all be in eternity, which will be for us an eternal day of delights or an eternal night of torments. There is no middle way. It is certain and of faith that one or the other lot will be ours. And in truth, with death present to them, the saints have despised all the pleasures of this world. St. Charles Borromeo kept always on his table a skull, that he might continually contemplate it. All the gains and riches of this world terminate in a dying gasp, a funeral, and a descent into the grave. The house you have built will be given up to others. The tomb will be the habitation of your body till the day of judgment, and from thence it will pass to heaven or hell, where the soul will already have preceded it. It is certain that we shall all die, but when is uncertain. Nothing is more certain than death, and nothing is more uncertain than the hour of death. Already is the year, the month, the day, the hour, the moment fixed in which you and I are to leave this world and to enter into eternity, but this time is unknown to us. Imagine yourself with a sick person who only has a few hours to live. Behold how he is oppressed with pains, fainting, suffocation, want of breath, cold sweats, and weakness of head, to such a degree that he can hardly hear, understand, or speak. Among his miseries, the greatest is that death approaches, and instead of thinking of his soul and preparing himself for eternity, he only thinks of physicians and remedies to free him from the pains that are killing him. If at least his relations and friends forewarn the dying man of his danger. But no, there is not one among them who has the courage to announce to him his approaching end, and to advise him to receive the last sacraments. Everyone refuses to tell him for fear of frightening him. But in the meantime, although no warning is given him of his death, the dying man nevertheless, seeing all the family in disorder, the frequent medical consultations, and the numberless and violent remedies that are adopted, is filled with confusion and terror, and amidst continual attacks of fear, remorse, and distrust, says within himself, Alas, who knows but the end of my days is come? What then will be his feelings when he really receives the announcement of his death? What distress when he hears the words, Sir, your illness is mortal. You must receive the sacraments. Make your peace with God and bid farewell to the world. O fool that I have been, the poor sufferer will then say. I might have been a saint with all the lights and opportunities which God has given me. I might have led a life of happiness in the grace of God. And now what remains of me, of the many years that I have passed, but torments, distrust, fears, and accounts to render to God? and hardly can I hope to save my soul. And when will he say this? When the oil of the lamp is nearly consumed, and the scene of this world is about to close, when he is already in sight of the two eternities, happy and unhappy, when he is near that last gasp upon which depends his being in bliss or despair forever, as long as God is God. What terror will it then be for him to think and say, "This morning I am alive. This evening most likely I shall be dead. Today I am in this room. Tomorrow I shall be in the grave. And my soul, where will it be?" What terror when he sees the candle prepared, when he perceives the cold sweat of death appear, when he hears his relations ordered to withdraw from his room and return no more, when his sight begins to fail and his eyes to darken. What terror, for death is already approaching. Death viewed according to the senses terrifies and causes fear, but when viewed with the eyes of faith it consoles and becomes desirable. What, says St. Augustine,